I'm an handle trouble. Guys, Manchester United seems to be in injury trouble, but guess what? The boss, Erik ten Hag, seems to have all the plans. He's not worried. Guys, hotspot. My name is Webb. Luke Shaw is ruled out for longer than expected because of injury. Manchester United is left without a first team left back ahead of this game against Nottingham Forest. It could be the same story when we do play Arsenal later, but I've got a good update from the boss Erik ten Hag. That pre-match press conference ahead of the game against Nottingham Forest, Erik ten Hag made it clear that Rasmus Hojlund could be edging closer to his debut, but it is not going to be happening tomorrow. Welcome to the hotspot, guys. My name is Webb. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a whole different space. I'm at a friend's place. He's a big a good brother of mine here, and he's also into this, what we do. But anyhow, let's get proper into the Manchester United talk. Now, let's start with Luke Shaw. Guys, Luke Shaw is injured, and it is seeming to be bad. According to Erik ten Hag, Luke Shaw will be out for longer than we expected. He will be out for weeks, if not months. Yes, Luke Shaw is going to be out for a couple of months, and that will mean that United is going to struggle in the next games because even Tyrell Malacia, who should be the backup left back, is injured. He returned in July with an injury that was unpredicted. No one knew what exactly happened with him. So he has not been serving us because of injury. So meaning United now is left with a young Alvaro Fernandez, who was promising. You remember in preseason when I think it was in that game, I think one of our last games in preseason, he looked impressive. I forget the team. He looked impressive, and then everyone was saying he is the future. But the plan was to loan him out in the La Liga. But are they going to change this because it seemed to have been advanced? Are they going to change this and keep him around? Or is Manchester United on the market to get an option, a left back option to come in and sit in for a short time? So that is where we are. It's a bit worrying. It's a bit of a worrying situation that Manchester United are finding ourselves in. But the boss Erik ten Hag says that he's not worried because he feels he has got enough players to come in there and fill that void that is going to be left by the man Luke Shaw, but also Tyrell Malacia, who is not available. There's been talk of the Ryan Bertrand to come in, briefly and try and help the team. According to reports that are coming through, remember Ryan Bertrand is not attached since he last played for Leicester City this year. He's not attached right now. He's a free agent, so United might be looking at him to come in and sign a short-term contract and perhaps back us up. But according to Erik ten Hag, he said he has a plan. He had a plan for all possible occurrences since the season started. So apparently he's not worried about lack of options in that left back position. What is likely to be his option? I think the most likely, if Alvaro Fernandez is not trusted because he's inexperienced, perhaps against a team like Nottingham Forest, you can think he can come in there and try to manage the game. But against Arsenal, you imagine if he's going to be facing Bukayo Saka, that would be trouble in every sense of the word. So I think for me, this lack of a left back in that role, a natural left back, only worries me mostly when we go to face Arsenal in the next game after tomorrow. So it will be worrisome. But there is talk of Diogo Dalot going through, coming up and playing that left back position. Remember, he's naturally right-footed. It would be quite interesting. I'm not sure if Victor Lindelof can try and play in the left back position, or at the very worst, maybe what Erik ten Hag could do is push Lisandro Martinez, because he's the natural left-footed player in that squad in terms of defenders. Push him on the left and then have Victor Lindelof play alongside Rafael Varane in centre back. Maybe that could be another option. Or go for Diogo Dalot playing on the left. Again, keep Lisandro Martinez and Varane in their preferred centre back positions. It's a tricky situation. But trust me, against Nottingham Forest, I don't think we should be worried. The only issue is the fact that we've been unconvincing, even with Luke Shaw and all these other players there. We've been so unconvincing in the past two games we've played this season. It's going to be quite interesting. But regardless, whether we have Luke Shaw or not, if United fail to beat Nottingham Forest, guys, it is going to be huge, huge trouble for us. It is certainly going to spell one thing. Terrible season it is for Manchester United. Erik ten Hag is talking confidence. saying that he's trusts his squad and all. But trust you me, when things like this happen, small injuries like this expose the lack of depth in this squad, and it shows you that there's a lot of work that has gone to be done. Now, speaking of work, one man putting in the work and putting in the hard yards quite well is the man we've all been hoping to see make his debut. That is Rasmus Hojlund. Yes, the latest that is coming through now is that Rasmus Hojlund is training, like I hinted to you yesterday. Remember, the Daily Mail had reported that Hojlund could be making his debut against Nottingham, that could come earlier. I told you weeks ago that it was most likely going to be against Arsenal, which Erik ten Hag seems to be pointing at. But the latest coming through from Erik ten Hag, the boss, is that Rasmus Hojlund started training this week with the rest of the teammates and is looking impressive. I told you how Victor Lindelof was also impressed with him. They hope they will be training with him more this coming week, leading to the game against Arsenal. So most likely, like I had predicted earlier, it is possible that Rasmus Hojlund's debut could come against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. Interesting stuff. So a beautiful update that. Other injuries, Mason Mount's injury is a bit longer. He's out for more than two months, I think, until after the international break. So Mount is not there. To be honest, I'm not sure I'm so hurt by the absence of Mount, because like I told you, I haven't exactly seen what he adds to our game. I haven't been so excited. You know, it's not obvious what he adds to the team. It's not like we are going to miss a lot from Mount not being there, to be honest. Of course, the fact that we don't have so many options on the bench, but for me, I think Christian Eriksen can actually be a better deputy for him. Probably Eriksen should even be starting under other circumstances where he's not Mount is not a new signing that we bought for a bit of an overcharge of a fee. Perhaps Erik ten Hag wouldn't have to insist on starting him. I think Christian Eriksen could confidently make a case for himself to start ahead of him. But again, the issue we've got in the middle of that pack has never been an issue to do with Mount and what he has. It has been a backup for Casemiro, who has got good stats, by the way. Whereas we are talking about how exposed Casemiro is from the last two games we've had, Erik ten Hag seems to be so impressed with Casemiro, and he was talking about waxing lyrical about his numbers and how they look good, and it shows you how ten Hag talks of standards. And for me, I feel at times he comes off oxymoron. Like, you talk of standards, but then you praise Casemiro for his numbers when he was ineffective. The game was there for everyone to see. He could have run and, covered 1 million yards, but to what effect? To what extent? He was all exposed. I mean, he was naked, so naked all throughout the game. So anyhow, Ten Hag seems to be confident. He seems to be having a plan. Perhaps this is for him not to, of course, to put fans under pressure. But the reality is we are in a bit of trouble when it comes to the lack of depth in this squad. Now, away from Mason Mount and his injury, of course, I've got to also give you a quick update concerning Sofyan Amrabat, because today Fabrizio the Kingpin Romano dropped something talking about how Sofyan Amrabat is still the top target for Manchester United, and he's still waiting on Manchester United. And United are yet to table a bid, but Fiorentina and their boss are hoping that a bid will come through from Manchester United, but they have been clear. They have stated that they have not got a single bid for Amrabat, but Amrabat is still waiting. I told you he wouldn't be in that game that they played against Rapid Vienna, and he wasn't. But there is hope that United will proceed if they do get a buyer or a club that gives them some money for one of the midfielders, either Scott McTominay, who is believed to again, the links with West Ham seem to be going on silently, but also Donny van de Beek, who was linked to Real Sociedad and a couple of other clubs. So that's where we are. Sofyan Amrabat is still the top target, but United are being slow a bit because of the lack of funds. Another top target for Manchester United has been Ryan Gravenberch from Bayern Munich, but still the same case. No money, you can't buy. The top priority now for United should be now a left back, to be honest. I think with the injuries on two natural left backs, I think United should be looking for options to come through and beef up that left back department that is losing an able general. And Luke Shaw, when he starts getting injuries, he's never done with him. He keeps going back and back, coming back and going. I hope it's not the case, because he had solved for us a huge problem in that role. But That's a priority now, but also a backup for Casemiro is still the top long-term target for Manchester United, and a goalkeeper, because Dean Henderson's situation is still not yet done. Yes, Dean Henderson could still be leaving Manchester United, and of course United are linked with the Benfica goalkeeper, of course, and several others. So many players have been linked with Manchester United. But guys, that's where we are. The top player that we want, the signing that we would make and people will be happy now, for me, I think is none other than the man on your screen, Sofian Amrabat. So that's Manchester United for you, and that's why we do play Nottingham Forest next. That will be on Saturday. Serious game, but I think this is the game that should be bringing back the confidence in the players, but also in the fans, in the whole Manchester United project. If we do not dispose of Nottingham Forest fair and square, trust you me, this season might actually look a lot worse than the last. But in the long term, looking at the Arsenal game, looking forward, looking ahead at the Arsenal game, what exactly is going to happen in the event that we don't have a left back? Bukayo Saka is inverted, facing Diogo Dalot. That would be a goals galore. That could be a goals highway, guys. Ten Hag is telling us to be calm, but man, this Manchester United project is so worrying. It's dismantling by the day. Like, I mean, God, goodness. Anything seems to be falling apart for United. Anyhow, subscribe to the Hotspot. My name is Webb. I will catch you later. Don't you move a muscle.